Last year, right around this time, I put out a reel counting down my top 10 favorite tones that I recreated in 2023. I was just about to start making one for 2024 when it hit me that this past year has been about so much more than just recreating tones. Here at Nirvana Guitars, we solved some gear mysteries thanks to the first-hand information that came directly from the people who were there. And best of all, we got very up close and personal to some of Kurt Cobain's actual guitars. Learning information that can only be uncovered from physically documenting and holding these pieces of history. It has been an absolute honor and privilege to go on this journey. My channel has gone from recreating tones with my tribute builds to playing Kurt's actual guitar, making budget part casters of his guitars, to then tracking down the same exact model, make, and year of his guitars to make the ultimate replica, and then comparing that side by side to the real deal. This is thanks to all of you. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for every view, every comment, every subscriber, every follower across all my social media platforms. I don't have any cool products or gear to sell to you guys, so I do not take for granted that people take the time out of their day to come to my channel simply to learn and to help the ultimate goal of preserving and archiving the legacy of this band that we all love so much. 2024 was an absolutely insane year for me, but here's a recap of my top 10 favorite highlights. Every one of these has its own dedicated video here on my channel if there's anything you'd specifically like to learn more about. In February, we celebrated the 30th anniversary of Nirvana's Canal Plus performance by not only recreating Kurt's tone, but by also learning firsthand information as to why Kurt's guitar cut out during Drain You. I had the honor of having a couple conversations with Jim Vincent, who was a guitar tech on the In Utero tour and the only tech there that day during this taping. He recalled that Kurt's guitar cut out due to a faulty rental cable. Jim inspected every cable after the performance to try to pinpoint the problem, and found that the cable that went bad was the one that was going from his guitar to his first pedal. For as long as I've been a Nirvana fan, it's been long debated and discussed why Kurt's guitar cut out here. I've seen so many theories. So as simple as the answer is, it was very exciting to get the confirmation and the full story from Jim himself. We celebrated Kurt's birthday on February 20th by documenting and analyzing the actual remains of the VMA Strat. This was only 3 months after my insane day where I documented and played Skystang 1, so I absolutely could not believe that I was driving out to do this so soon after that day. One of Kurt's most notable Stratocasters thanks to its memorable use at the 1992 MTV VMAs where they performed Lithium. A truly amazing and one-of-a-kind piece of history. It was not only used at a highly beloved performance, but the body is signed by the entire band. One of my favorite parts was getting to see these signatures so up close, particularly Dave's poem and the little help me guy in the input jack. After that, for a few months, we went back to recreating tones, but then in May, I had not only a channel highlight, but honestly a life highlight. Documenting, analyzing, and holding Kurt's actual 1969 Fender Competition Mustang. A guitar that was used on Nevermind, In Utero, and of course, the Smells Like Teen Spirit music video. It is not a stretch to say that this is perhaps the most famous and iconic Fender Mustang. It became the most expensive electric guitar in the world after the Jim Irsay collection won it at auction in 2022 for $4.6 million. Holding the most expensive electric guitar ever sold was not on my 2024 bingo card. I had the immense honor of being invited and flying out to the Irsay collection to see this guitar and to create a visual record for it. There is an argument that could be made that of all of Kurt's guitars, this is the Nirvana guitar. This was an absolute honor and a day I'll never forget, and I'm so happy to have been able to share it all with you guys. It was the year of the Strat for the Nirvana Guitars collection, and it all started when I picked up this 1996 MIJ ST62 Fender Stratocaster for a great price on Facebook Marketplace. I modded it to be an ultra-accurate VMA Strat, and then we went back to visit the actual remains of the VMA Strat so I could compare my build with the real deal side by side. Another big highlight is that right around this time, I spoke with my friend and Nirvana guitar tech Ernie Bailey about this guitar. He shared some valuable information about it. We learned exclusively from him that the neck that was used at the VMAs was actually a replacement neck that he installed right before soundcheck. So we were able to confirm that this guitar at the VMAs was an ST362 body with an ST62 neck and Seymour Duncan bridge hot rails. Not too long after that, another great deal popped up and I got my ST362 Strat, which turned into my Vandalism Strat build. This is my as accurate as it can get build. It's an MIJ from either 1989 or 90, and that's the same read that we get from the serial number on Kurt's actual Vandalism Strat. We know this thanks to Brian at Kurt's Equipment after he made this brilliant post that shows the actual Vandalism Strat's neck heel. We also learned from Ernie that the Vandalism Strat's body is made out of mahogany, and that the neck that's on it present day actually has a connection to the Candy Apple Strat that Kurt briefly played on the Neutro Tour. In September, I redid my Paramount Tone video, which had been long requested, and not too long after that, I started experimenting with EQ pedals in my rig, and it's made a world of difference. I did this based on the suggestions I got in the comments of my Paramount Tone video. I regret not getting an EQ pedal earlier. It's been a game changer for my tone recreations. In October, we took a deep dive into the Tom Strat, an all-important Nevermind era guitar that seems to be largely overlooked. Thanks to Ernie, we finally learned that the mystery humbucker it had at the Nevermind sessions was a Seymour Duncan 59N. Not too long after that, I got my Hagstrom pickguard signed by Pat Smear. My build of his Hagstrom H2N, modded to his Nirvana specs, has become one of my go-to guitars that I'm always playing. It's so satisfying to now be able to fully recreate the Neutro Tour guitar sound, and also the guitar itself is just so versatile. I use it for so many things other than just Nirvana tones. So it's an absolute honor to get the original pickguard I had on it signed by the man himself. This was all possible thanks to my friend John Westcott, who's Pat's tech. Thank you so much, John, for your generosity and for your time for allowing me to do this. It was a dream come true. Also in October, I tackled the most requested tone, Nirvana's final song, You Know You're Right. This is a tone I had been hesitating to recreate because I felt like I didn't have the appropriate gear to do so. But this problem went away thanks to my amazing friend John Holmes, who generously sent me his Univox Phase 1 Custom and Boss HM3 and Ibanez SM9 pedals to try to recreate this tone with. With those, plus the Digitech Freakout, I was finally able to recreate this tone, and this is probably the cover I am most proud of. In my You Know You're Right tone video, I explained that even though the SM9 got closer for me and my setup, that did not determine anything definitively about which one Kurt used for that session. What works for me 30 plus years later, it's fun, but does not determine anything definitively historically. After putting out that video, my good friend Ernie reached back out to me to let me know that he had watched the video and that he had insight he wanted to share regarding that session. He definitively confirmed that Kurt did use the Boss HM3. He said it was a very unique circumstance, so he remembers this clearly. Another long debated gear mystery and a big one finally put to rest. I again really have to thank you all for this incredible year. It has really been a dream come true. I'm not exaggerating or just saying this, but I truly wake up grateful every single day to get to do what I do, which is essentially just being a huge nerd on the internet and connecting with fellow nerds who are also just as passionate about this band. After the craziness of 2024, I cannot wait to see what 2025 has in store, and here's a sneak peek of some things I already have in the works. We are going to review and demo a very cool Chris Store guitar, and I'm really excited to say we're going to revisit the Tom Strat's history as there's more to the story. After I put out the Tom Strat history video, Ernie reached out to me to say, hey, I have a lot more about the Tom Strat I can share with you. He shared new information, including details on the work he did when he rebuilt it in 1992 that I have never read or seen anywhere else. So you can expect to see a Tom Strat history video part 2 coming up very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and an extra special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nirvana Guitars, and check out my other Nirvana gear videos right here on YouTube.